Hello everyone. So far we have seen about the resource management, and in resource management we saw the different process management, how the process has been transferred from one place to another, how they have been used. So the basis for this process management is process migration. Let us see how this process migration actually happens. So before saying that, first let us see what is a code. How a code is what part of role a code plays in process migration, and how it is migrated. That is, we call it as a mobility. How a code can move from one place to another. So in that we can see a code mobility means a code maybe mobile. It means can move from one place to another. So what are the components there? In code mobility, the components may be computational code, that is the actual process. So if I have the requirement, how this requirement is processed. So that is the computational process. There it is. You can see again process. Each process has a code segment to do that process, and that code segment will be executed in a resource segment. So this resource segment may have resource components. So when these resource components may be data, file, device driver, etc. So execution segment. So based on that, execution takes place. So these are the components of a process. So let us see how they interact, how they communicate with each other. So events between two or more components, messages. So that is how they message. It may we can see that in load balancing. So after messaging, why they have to communicate? So if they communicate, they can improve the load balancing, improve the performance, can give flexibility, fault tolerance, and they can make their own dynamic configuration. If one fails, still they can keep the network alive. The process may be executed. So these are the interactions is necessary. Now let us see where they are executed. To see where they are executed, let us see so we call it as execution environment. Why execution environment? It provides the support for execution for the computational components. Then it also provides speed, okay, and memory size provided by and memory size. These may be vary from different execution environment. If suppose I am working on a node which has a high processor, then the speed will be greater. Again, if I am working on a node with high memory, then again the storage will be greater. So that depends upon the different execution environment. So now let us see a detailed note about a process migration. So in process migration, we can you see that orange color round boxes? So we can say these are the two executional unit. We can name them as execution unit 1 and execution unit 2. So inside each and every execution unit, we can see a code segment. Okay, the process which they have to perform, the data space where the data are spaced, and the executing state whether it is active or low. So we have already seen the load balancing systems or scheduling algorithm. There we know it is lightweighted, underloaded or overloaded. So these state information are placed in these blue color boxes. So now let us see, and these are the process are need the resources. So, okay, and they are placed in a computational environment. So there are different scenarios. Based on the scenarios, we'll see how the process is executed, how what is moved when, whether only the code segment is moved, whether the resources is moved or not. We'll see by the following in the following example. So before that, let us know the what are the core paradigm is about more. So it is client server model. There are client server model. The different types are there. Client server model, remote evaluation, code on demand, mobile agents. So let us here we have an example. In that example, we'll assume that we are going to bake a cake. So in that there is a client, that is there is a customer, and there is someone who is expert in it. So how they communicate? The process is somehow we are going to bake the cake. So in that cake, let us know how we can relate our process with this baking a cake. So, so let us see code know-how, that is a recipe. The code know-how in the sense the code is responsible for doing the process. So whatever process we give to a particular node or requirement, the code is responsible for executing it. So it will say what to do when. It gives the list of take the data, process the data, send the output, perform this, perform that. So this code is equivalent to the recipe recipe for baking the cake. Resource components, that are movable resources. Here it is ingredient. In case of movable resources, in the case if my file is small, I can move my file from one place to another. So these are called movable resources in executing task. And in case of baking a cake, they are ingredients. Resource components, which are non-movable resource, that is an oven in case of baking a cake. In case of executing a task, that may be a heavy node like a server or like a server, yeah, a cloud environment which we cannot move from one place to another. It can provide a service, but the location cannot be moved from one place to another. So that is about non-movable resource. Now we'll see the computational component responsible for execution of the code. So what is actually responsible for execution of the code? So that is the main person, a person. We need a person to bake a cake. Without a person taking an initiative, we cannot bake a cake on our own. So there we need a person to mix the ingredients as per the recipe to get the cake. So that is the computational component. So let us assume, so now we are going to the actual example. Let us assume to prepare a cake to execute this, that is to execute a service. All these elements, with all these elements must be co-located in the same home or site. Okay, first we are assuming they are co-located within the same place. So first let us see client server model. In client server model, we see a Lousy, that is we can relate her to site A. Christine, for we can relate her to site B. So what here Lousy gives, Lousy just gives a send a request. We know what is a client server model. In client server model, the receiver, sorry, the client will just send a request. Every process is all taken care by the server, and it gives a response. Same things it happens over here. So now the Lousy is just making a call and she's asking for a chocolate cake. What does Christine's response? Christine here has all the resources, that is she has the oven, she has the ingredients, she has the recipe also. So you can see the side B, they have the code, there is a resource, and there is computational components also. So with that, it produces the desired, the task is executed and the reply is sent back to site A. So this is about client server paradigm. Now remote server evaluation. In case of remote server evaluation, what happens? Lousy has the code or recipe. Though Christine knows has the oven, she may know how to make a cake, but then too the recipe or the code is sent by Lousy. Lousy dictates or says in which manner she wants the cake to be made. Except the code, other ingredients, the resource, everything is available with Christine. So oven is there, ingredients are there. Now Lousy dictates or sends the recipe to the Christine. So based with that recipe, Christine makes the cake or execute the process. So we can relate site A sends the request along with the code. Site B has the resource. Site B has the resource. It has the computational components also. So with that request, it does and sends the reply. So this is about remote evaluation. Now we see code on demand. In case of code on demand, Lousy has everything. Lousy has the ingredients. Lousy has the resource. That is the oven. She has the oven. Now she just want to know how to make a cake. How to make. So in that case, she contacts Christine. She asks Christine to send a for the recipe. So now what does the request is only about getting the code. So Christine sends a recipe, and based on that, everything is available in Lousy's house. She just makes the process. That is, she just makes the cake. So let us see here. That is, this A has the computational components. A has the resources. It just wants the recipe code. It requests for the code from B, and B sends the code as a response. So based on that, the process is executed inside A. This is code on demand. Now let us see mobile agent. So what is mobile agent here? Everything is sent, whatever we need is sent to, it's sent from one location where the resource is located, it is sent to that place. So we can say the best example, cloud environment. If suppose I'm working as a cloud environment as IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service. So there the infrastructure is there, code everything is there. I'm just giving and getting my work done. So similar cases there. Here what happens? Lousy carries her ingredients and recipe to Christine's home. Why? Because Christine has the oven. So the entire process here, the computational components along with the code moves to the place where the resource is located. So it moves over there and the process gets done. That is, in case of the example, the cake is get baked. So these are the four different types. Now let us tabulate them and see. So you can see the paradigms on the left hand side. So these are the paradigms: client server, remote evaluation, code on demand, mobile agent. So now let us see what happens. First, the site A. From site A, it sends a request to know um, how to do and the resources and everything. From again, the work is got done. Again, in case of remote evaluation, A knows how to do, B has the resource. In case of code demand, A has the resource, B knows how to do. In case of mobile agent, A know how to do and also has the resources. So it migrates the entire thing and goes to B to get the work done. So now let us come to the actual topic, mobile code. So code mobility is a capability to dynamically change the bindings between code fragments and the location where they are executed. So what is a code? If suppose I have a very large code, but I want the code to be executed at a faster rate and immediately. In that case, what happens? The code fragments are broken. The entire code is broken into small fragments, and again they are sent to different nodes to execute. So that is given that the bindings between the code fragments and the location where they are executed can change dynamically based on the requirement. So the change in bindings, we call them as process to resource and resource to machine. So a process, we can allocate a process to a resource or sometimes a resource to a different machine dynamically with time it can change, or based on the state it can change. Then first it is about binding, it is the allocating where to go, then the relocation of code happens. So let us see the models of code migration. Just we'll have a glance on it. How code, the mobility mechanism is divided into two types: weak mobility and strong mobility. So in weak mobility, we have, it is again subdivided into two types: sender initiated mobility. sender initiated mobility. In sender initiated mobility, it is again subdivided into execute at the target process or execute in the separate process. Receiver initiated mobility, that is, it will be executed, it can also be executed in a target process or it can be executed in a separate process. The same thing with when we talk about strong mobility, they have the two base cases same. That is, a sender can initiate a mobility, sender can ask for mobility, or a receiver can initiate for mobility, ask for mobility. So in case of sender, they can migrate the process. They can send the process from one place to another, or they can just make a copy of the process, send it to copy of the process and send wherever it is needed. So that we call it as a clone process. Same in in receiver initiated mobility. Again, we have the two processes. That is, we can migrate the entire process or we can clone the process. So the migration and the local resources, we can just tabulate them. So we can identify the how the resource to process to resource binding happens. We can classify them based on by their identifier, okay, by their value, by the type. So when these identify by their identifier, again we can check the state whether they are attached to a particular resource or unattached, unattached or attached or fixed. In case of fixed, we cannot move. In case of fastened, there is a possibility we can move. Like in case of ingredients, these unattached may be mostly the code can be moved from one place to another. In case of fastened ingredients may be available or may not available. Again, if possible, we can take the ingredients and move from one place to another. In case of fixed, it is the case of oven. We cannot move it from, it is practically not possible. So in that case, it remains fixed. So let us see the abbreviations. So MV says we can, it is movable from one place to another. By identifier, when we identify what is the identifier in the case, so we'll see that in the next slide. The identifier may be a specific website, FTP server. By value, it may be any Java libraries. By type, it may be printers, local devices. So based on that, we can decide. Depends upon the type of attachment. So what types of attachment? Unattached to any node can be the data files. Fastened can be data. Fastened resources may be, yeah, moved only at high cost. We can move the entire thing at high cost. That may be database websites. Fixed are local devices and communication endpoints. So now let us come to this table. We'll see by identifier that are websites. Websites can be moved from one place to another. Wherever I want, I can just make a simple change and I can move it. So it comes under the calc. If it is unattached, it can be moved, or it can be classified into given can be taken from the general global resource. So same cases for the fastened and fixed. If it is by value, the Java libraries, then what can I do? I can copy the entire thing, then I can move it, or I can address by a global reference. So again, the same thing with fastened and fixed. If it is by the type, what is the type? The end system communication, where I cannot move, actually it cannot be moved. So in that case, what can I do? That is rebind the process to locally available. That is, if I can just change the availability, change the connectivity point to another. Suppose if I have moved my server from one place to another, I want to move the server, then I will give a different connectivity point or different reference. So based on that, we can make the process to perform. Okay. So this is about the process migration, and in process migration we have saw how code migration is done, their code migration models, and how they are related with the local resources. Thank you.